Okay, it's been a while since I've done some Star Wars Clone Wars reviews. It's just too much stuff. And I'd already bundled a bunch in one, and this will be no different. And I'm thinking I'll probably do overviews of the different seasons following this. And that because it's the time constraints. And plus, I'm enjoying the show for what it is. But Star Wars just depresses me so bad. It's hard to get over, and it just the news from it and stuff. We'll see what Mandalorian does, but to coin a phrase, I've got a bad feeling about this. So I'll continue on as I can, and I'll be doing this more. Blake's 7 I just started. And that one, I'm going to be doing 2 episodes at once in the reviews. So that's how that'll work out. So, Clone Wars, the first season is pretty good. I begged off of it when it originally premiered, and I just thought, I don't know, it looks silly. And now that I've looked into it, I never do get used to the human characters as the way they look. Everything else looks great. And, of course, you get the familiar music and sound effects. And, obviously it's not John Williams, but the guy works very hard to capture that tone and mood of the music. And it all works out really good. And you have these basic lessons of good versus evil and mentors and students and, all that relationship. And it works out very well. So they had some rather classic war stories like type things and missions with Trespass. You had Anakin and Obi-Wan, and oh no, you get caught in the territorial conflict of the planet that you're on, and you go, oh damn it, you got to deal with it. So it's a bit more complicated than you expected. Then of course dealing with traitors, and this was interesting as a kind of a foreshadowing of what becomes of the clones and everything, and yet here. You do have the clones being very individualistic, and I don't know if that was programmed in or if that's just a natural outcome of these clones wanting to be different from one another, even though they all look alike. Of course, they go out of their way to look different from one another, different hairstyles or shaved heads and stuff like that. But in the hidden enemy, oh yeah, we got a traitor, and that's all very sad and everything. Meanwhile, we get into something that I would have thought they might have approached in the sequels when they always got to have a super weapon of some sort. Yeah, that didn't work out so great, did it? But I always wondered about what about like germ warfare or chemical warfare. Well, here we go. Clone Wars touched on that with a mad scientist. Created the blue shadow virus and intended to use that as a weapon against the Republic. And then, of course, Padme and Ahsoka get infected with this, along with some of their clone troopers. And so Anakin and Obi-Wan once again must race to find the antidote to save Padme, most importantly. It's so blatantly obvious what's going on between the two, and everybody's just standing around. Come on! You didn't know? Oh, well. So then they got to go defend other planets they want to maintain within the Federation enough, and such is the case with Ryloth, and they get invaded by the Separatists, and they have the involvement there, and it's again with the war stories and whatnot, and the difficulties of diplomacy and what it a bit mirrors a lot of what happens in some of the episodes of Star Trek, but here it's within the context of this war. And there's lessons there and about maybe they didn't really want you there, but they're there and they end up proving that they are noble intents here to defend them against the Separatists, but at the same time, it's like I really wish this hadn't come here. So, anyway, there you go. And ends on something, well, not a high note for the storyline, but it does introduce a pretty good villain. And I've already seen some of the next season. But the character of Cad Bane, who's a bounty hunter, but he's a force to be reckoned with. and is actually a far more impressive villain than Grievous is. Grievous comes across as a comical figure. He's almost as comical as Jar Jar. I mean, he's really clumsy. He's not the menacing figure that he was in the original cartoon, which he was very, very scary and whatnot. And then, of course, he meets his end in Revenge of the Sith, and I just took it to mean that he was badly damaged after his fight with Mace Windu, and that's why he wasn't as impressive as he was in the cartoon. I don't know how they wrap that up here. We'll get there, but or not, depending on how much I want to do. But so far, it looks pretty good, and of course, just about all of this stuff looks good compared to what we're getting now, with the exception of Rogue One and Mandalorian. And that's about it. So he does this scheme that's pretty good, where he's a bold ass guy. He goes in right into Coruscant to go free a crime lord, another Hutt named Zero. This Hutt is not as impressive as Jabba. He comes across as quite pampered. But anyway, they get him out of there, and they take Senators hostage, and well, of course, Padme, and Anakin's not going to put up with that, and so there you go. And that's where we end with the introduction of a good villain, in the case of Cade, who actually wears a cowboy hat. Like a bounty hunter should. So, yes, I am enjoying them. I do appreciate that they're short, and they certainly fall within the parameters of what one of the structures of Star Wars was, the weekend matinee, like Flash Gordon and the like. And these cartoons kind of capture that even more. And especially with the over-the-top narrator. Oh no, the forces of the Republic are surrounded by the Separatists. Can Anakin and Obi-Wan save Padme and Ahsoka? And all. And then, of course, you get your little lesson in the opening, the black screen with the blue letters. It's a nice package, and it fits in well within the lore and lessons of Star Wars.
All right. Thank you for watching and listening. Why not like and subscribe, and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my mini stores and have plenty of goodies for you. Hats, mugs, stickers, posters, all that goody stuff. Plus, you can head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book Night Night. Oh, yeah. Plus, you can also catch my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, over at RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on my channel at BitChute. That's the Mr Nailsin channel on BitChute.com.